Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Mary and I give you an extra warm welcome. I would love it if you can click the subscribe button and stay for a while. I upload 3 times a week. Get ready with me, show my stash, trying on new makeup. If it's beauty or makeup related, I will be posting it. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you more than you know. So as you can tell from the title of the video, we are going to film with a new Sonia G brush set. My order came in from Beautylish that I know of. That's the retailer that you can purchase Sonia G brushes from if you live in the US. I'm pretty sure she probably has other retailers if you're outside of the US, but Beautylish ships internationally, I think. I could be wrong. If I am, let me know down below. Anywho, let me go ahead and pull my hair back, probably put on my base because I don't think there's a foundation brush in here, and we'll get started with using this new Sonia G brush set. All right, my lovelies, I did already unbox my brushes. They came individually wrapped and all 3 of them came in this little pouch. I filmed it for a reel on my Instagram. Okay, so here is the brush set. This is the Traditions Series Keyaki Kakishibu Face set. All 3 together, the set itself retails for $272. That's pricey for 3 brushes. The Traditions TF1, which is the fan brush, on its own retails for $130. The Traditions TF2 on its own retails for $75. And the Traditions TF3 retails for $67. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little hesitant to buy this set just because I'm not a huge fan of big fan. Did not intend to do that on purpose. Brushes. She does have a couple of bronzing fan brushes that I've been interested in, but how big they are has stopped me from purchasing it. This one did not look as big as the other ones that she has in her line, but now that it's here, I'm like, okay, it's pretty big, but I'm still gonna try it. It reminds me just a tiny bit of one of the BK Beauty brushes, and I'll do a couple of comparisons with the brushes in case you already have a pretty big Sonia G collection and need to decide whether you need these brushes or not, or pick them up, because honestly, we don't need anything. But yeah, we're gonna test these 3 bad boys out today, and we're gonna start with this one. Okay, I am on the Sonia G brushes Instagram, and this is the Traditions Face 2 brush. The bristles length are 33 mm. The total length is 173 mm. Okay, for the usage, pair it with blush, contour, bronzers, or powders. Pressed or loose, or used to buff the final application. The brush is dense but not dense and tight like a foundation brush. It's ideal to work products like loose powders and loose powder blushes. There's a little note. It looks like she enjoys this for loose powder blushes. You asked me if these brushes are okay to use with creams. Technically, yes, they are. However, if you need to put excessive pressure to pick up the product or to blend, this will weaken the bristles, and this applies to all natural brushes. So always match the strength of the brush to the product you are using. Okay, that explains a lot. I use this brush with some cream and liquid products, for example, the Westman Atelier Super Loaded Tinted Highlighter and similar types of products, bronzers, highlighters, or blushes. This brush has the right strength to apply a very beautiful veil without altering the base underneath. I hope that if you get it, you will use it as much as I do. With love, Sonia G. Okay, so I am going to use this for cream bronzer and cream blush today, and let's see how that goes. Now, the uses that I use these brushes with for today is just me testing them out. As I keep using them more and more, I will figure out what I enjoy using these brushes for. I always do. All right, so I think I'm going to use the Say liquid bronzer. This is in the shade Salt. it's more of a contouring shade for me, just because it pulls a tiny bit neutral. So again, this is the TF2, and I'm just going to blend this out. Okay, that is working beautifully, and it's not moving anything. By the way, I do have on the Dior foundation stick and the Danessa Myrix concealer. Okay, that worked beautifully. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna jump into the Makeup by Mario liquid bronzer. This is in the shade medium, and I'm doing the pump. I'm going to apply that. Ooh, might have applied a little too much. Or maybe just that's how well this brush works, because I feel like usually I don't feel this Makeup by Mario is super pigmented, and it's looking pretty pigmented right now, isn't it? Okay, so right away I enjoyed this brush much more with the Safe formulation than I did with the Makeup by Mario. I felt like the Makeup by Mario liquid bronzer was a little bit too wet for these bristles. Yeah, so the Safe for me personally felt like it blended just more seamlessly with this brush. I do want to compare this in size with a couple of brushes that I have. This is the Sonia G Jumbo Base. I use this for foundation, but I have definitely seen people use this for cream bronzer, liquid bronzer, and cream blush as well. But here is a difference in size. I also own the mini base, so there's a side-by-side comparison for the mini base and the new one. I use this for concealer, and then why not? This is the Classic Cheek from the Fundamental set. So lengthwise, very close, just the bristles, definitely. I use this for just powders. Okay, I did forget to mention that I did clean all three of the brushes very quick before I started using them. And it was like a quick, almost spot clean type of situation. I use the Sephora Daily Brush Cleanser. All I do is I spray my towel that I use when I'm filming, and then I just buff it on here. You can use a paper towel, but I have a specific towel that I use. Now, when you spot clean, make sure to give the brush a tiny bit of time for it to dry down in between uses, or else it can definitely mess up the product that you're using, because I do feel like that cleanser is a little bit oil based and you don't want that messing with your makeup. All right, now we're going to jump in to blush, and let me try. So I think if I use a cream blush, I would pick it up with my finger and apply it to my cheek and then blend it out. More ideally, I would think the Huda Beauty would probably be the best bet for this brush, but let's try both. Why not? Let's start with the Huda Beauty, and I'll go ahead and put that towards the temple. So I'll do a little bit of a ombre style blush. This is Strawberry Cream, I think. Okay, so I did clean it, as you saw, and I did give it a tiny bit of time to dry down. Okay, that worked all right, not the best. Oh, maybe I didn't have enough product. Not my favorite brush for that Huda Beauty. Okay. All right, now we're gonna jump into the Refi. This is in the shade Guava. It's from the Summer Trio set. Pretty pigmented, so I'll tread softly. Let's see how it does with the cream product. Okay, not my favorite. it's not blending as seamlessly as I wish it was. So I think liquids would probably be best for this brush. The Say worked beautifully. Didn't like it so much with the Makeup by Mario. The Huda, I'll have to keep trying it with that. It could just be because I just wiped it and cleaned it. It's just giving me a tiny bit of a hard time blending the Huda. So I think I'll try the Huda blush again in a different day. But for now, so far the Say is a yes with this brush. Okay, I am powdered. I went into the One Size loose powder in Ultra Pink for my under eyes and the RMS loose powder for the rest of my face. Before we jump in to the bronzing brush, I did forget to compare the actual cream brush that Sonia G has, the Sheer Buffer. I'm pretty sure when this came out, it was mostly advertised for like cream or liquid bronzer. I mean, it's completely different from the new TF2, but I love this brush for cream and liquid bronzers. So because I have this brush, more than likely I won't be using this specifically for cream or liquid bronzer, but I don't own a brush from Sonia G that I enjoy using for my cream blush. So this might end up being my Sonia G cream blush brush. Yeah, just wanted to share that real quick. Okay, and now for the big boy of this trio, the Traditions Face 1. Bristles are 45 mm from the center of the arched ferrule. Total length 190 mm. Usage for the application of powders, bronzers, also for blush application depending on the precision required. We can either pick the product with the most centered part of the brush and use the entire length for blending, or we can load the product on the whole surface or just work with the edge of the brush. I use this brush with different bronzers, matte, radiant, or sparkly formulas. Its fluffiness will prevent harsh edges in the application, but it's still strong enough to blend and gently polish the results. I also use this brush with blush. Most of my blushes are neutral and I use them to add structure to the face. Since the placement I aim for is a bit wider compared to what I would do with a brighter blush, this brush can easily do the job. This brush allows us to work with products on a large area, but we still have some control of the placement and intensity. With love, Sonia G. So, like I said, this for me is a tiny bit big, and for some reason I thought it was going to be just the slightest bit smaller, kind of like this one. So this is the BK Beauty 111. I use this for cream bronzer and cream contour, and as you can see, I mean, similar shape, just the bristles are different. That's kind of what I was thinking, maybe tiny bit longer than this, but it's fine. We're still going to make this work. Okay, so I pulled out my Dior Contour and Highlighting Duo. This is in the shade Light. Let's see. I'm just picking up right in the middle. I don't want too much product, although I can use that as a bronzer. Okay, so I do feel it's picking up the product well. And again, I did spot clean this brush, all three of them, that is. If you own the other like fan bronzer brushes from her, can you let me know if they are bigger or if they look like they are bigger than this, or if this is pretty much the size that they are, because some of them look pretty big. I'm also going to jump into the Unearthly Glowy Bronzer in the shade Medium. I find that I enjoy this bronzer a lot more with natural hair bristles. It just blends it out so much seamlessly and it doesn't make it look so metallic. Like the blend is just much better, and I enjoy this Unearthly bronzer with the natural bristle hair brush. I don't put too much because this tone is a tiny bit on the dark side. And while we're at it, let's add some RMS. Why not? This is in the shade Malibu Muse. So just gonna dip into this one. Okay, yeah, you can see the product nicely. Like you can see the difference between this side and this side. Okay, it's blending everything out beautifully. A tiny bit big for my personal liking, but I think it'll be fine. I think I'll for sure get a lot of use out of this brush. Okay, here is what the face is looking like. That BK Beauty 111 is the only like fanned brush that I have to compare to the new Sonia G, and I have seen people use it for powder bronzer. Apologies that I only have one other brush to compare it to. I hope it helped though. Okay, now we're going to move on to the third and last brush, which is the Traditions Face 3 brush. Bristle lengths are 33 mm. The total length is 176 mm. Usage: pair it with blush toppers, contour, highlight, or powders. We can either roll, swirl the brush, or swipe. While this brush tapers to a very thin point, the bristles are layered to splay out and offer a wide surface for us to work with. One of the reasons I love this brush so much is that even though it's pointy, the point is very soft and can flex easily to let those underneath layers blend with more strength when we need to. We have options. Either we use less pressure and put that little point to work, or we use a bit more pressure and use those beautiful layers for blending. I use this brush to work powders with precision and also to apply blushes and highlighters. This brush is ideal to apply blush toppers or to play with layering because it's tapered. But the bristles are not too tight, so it won't pack too much product upon first swipe. With love, Sonia G. So I'm going to use this for powder blush today. If you are an avid watcher of my channel, then you know I have my #1 favorite brush from Sonia G that I use for powder blush, and this is the Soft Cheek. So let's compare it. Completely different shape, but I feel like they have the same amount of looseness to the bristles. At least it feels like it does. Let me show you the highlighting brushes I have. Okay, so let's first compare to this one, which is the Worker L from the Fundamental set. Completely different shapes, but I do feel like there is some roundness to the new one if you kind of close off the tapered point. I do really enjoy this for highlighter. And the Mini Cheek, which is a completely different shape from the new one. I also do really enjoy this. This was the first Sonia G brush that I started to use for highlighter, and I do really enjoy it. We're going to use this today for blush and highlighter. I'll just wipe it down in between uses. And we're gonna jump into the new Fenty Beauty, what is this? The Suede Powder Blush. Baking Cakes is the tone I have. Okay, my allergies are just... All right, so got some product on there. Ooh, I don't know if I'm going to love this for blush. That point, that tapered point is throwing me off a tiny bit. Okay, it's applying the blush beautifully. That worked great. Okay, now we're going to use the TF3 for highlighter. This, for me personally, is too big for highlighter. I don't use brushes this big to apply my highlighter. I did jump in just a tiny bit into my Chanel blush and highlighter duo, and this formula in here from Chanel applied so beautifully with this brush. Just, I put it here close to the temple. Okay, now we're gonna jump into the highlighter, and I think I'm gonna focus the product on the tapered tip. Definitely see the product. Okay, that is applying it beautifully. No issues at all. Very soft, subtle, just how I like it. Okay. If I do use this as a highlighter, I would just use the taper tip. And I feel like that's a waste of brush, you know? So I think this might be a new powder blush brush. But it is doing a fabulous job with highlighter. Okay, let me go ahead and finish off the rest of the face and I'll come back. We'll talk real quick and conclude this video. All right, my lovelies, I am back. Makeup is nice and completed. It's pretty simple. I used the Gucci brow pencil and the Make Beauty brow gel, a tiny bit of the Ilia mascara. For the lips, I have on the Dominique Cosmetics lip liner in Nudie and the Makeup by Mario lipsticks. The very first lipsticks that he launched, the one in the white packaging in the shade Rasa. Love this lip combo. It's so good. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this new Sonia G brush set. I hope you enjoyed the extensive applications, showing some comparisons, and reading to you the information that Miss Sonia G gave us on these brushes. I don't think I've done that format before, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was nice. It was only 3 brushes, so hopefully the video won't be super long. I think out of all 3 brushes, this is the one that impressed me the tiny bit out of all of them. It's just the application for the Chanel blush, so pretty, and how amazing it worked also with the highlighter. Like, I have a feeling that this is going to be a brush that's going to be very versatile and that you're going to get the most bang out of your buck, because you can probably use this for precision powder under your eyes, contour, bronzer, blush, highlighter. Like, you can probably do your whole face with your powder products just with this brush. If I were only to recommend one, I think this one might be the one that you'll get your most money out of it. They're all beautiful. I enjoyed using all of them. I'm excited to keep using all 3 and figure out what I prefer using each one for, because all of the Sonia G brushes I have found what I love using them for, and that's basically what I use them for. Okay, well, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. You have no idea. All the comments, all the likes. If you use my links to shop, it truly all does mean the world to me. If you picked up this brush set, let me know down below. I would love to hear your thoughts and see if you found any other way to use these beautiful brushes. Sonia G is definitely a favorite on my channel. I use her brushes a lot. They are pretty expensive, so I 100% understand if you think they're a little too expensive for what they are. With that being said, do not forget to give the video a big thumbs up, and also don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you all on my next video. Bye!